What's up, guys? Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. Today I'm going to be talking about diversity, and is it really that important? Let's talk about it. Now, some people on the internet, if you guys been around YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you guys know the backlash for this recent Odyssey movie with certain characters being non-traditionally white for a Greek story, right? So you have Greece, which is in Europe, so basically white people. And some people were like, well, this wouldn't be historically accurate for the time period in the ancient world, assuming a world with titans and gods that live on a mountain were realistic. They're saying it's not historically accurate. Yeah, sorry to tell you, but it's completely fantasy. Greek mythology is fantasy, just like Egyptian mythology is fantasy. Now, that's not to discount people's concerns about the cast. For example, Gods of Egypt got backlash and had controversy because the protagonists were white, right? So, Gods of Egypt is Egyptian mythology, but I guess a lot of the actors were white, so Gerard Butler's in it. And so, yeah, that wouldn't really make sense because it's set in Egypt during the ancient era, which is like before the Common Era, right? So yeah, Greeks, they colonized part of Egypt, which is why there's a city in Egypt called Alexandria, because I believe there's a city in Greece called Alexandria. Queen Cleopatra is an Egyptian queen, but I believe her father hailed from Greece. He was like a general or something, right? And not much is known about Cleopatra's mother. So let's say we're doing a fantasy movie in Egypt, right? Yeah, it should have like Egyptian looking people there, and maybe some white people because Greece has some influence there. If you wanted to get historical at all, but if it's just straight fantasy, yeah, it should be mostly Egyptian looking people. Kind of like what I grew up with watching The Mummy, right? So The Mummy is obviously, it's set in Egypt, and it's dealing with the Book of the Dead, pharaohs, gods, Egyptians, a giant scorpion man, hybrid, played by The Rock. So, yeah, you need some people who look like they're from Egypt, which they were, as far as I remember. The people looked like they were Egyptian. Now, if we're talking about the Odyssey, Greek mythology, yes, most of the people would be white, right? They'd be white people. And there was some concern over, well, this isn't going to be historically accurate for the ancient world of Greece. And I understand some people's reservations, like, okay, I don't want to see this movie because, they think there's too much diversity in the movie from the trailers and all the chatter online, Twitter, YouTube. But they kind of were prejudging the movie before they actually saw it. You go to the movie, you actually watch it, you realize there's not really that much diversity in it. Was it a little bit strange that Odysseus had a right-hand man that was like kind of Indian, I believe, and then there was like an Asian man in his army? Yeah, it's a little strange to see, but it's not like it took me out of the movie and it made it like completely unbelievable in a movie that's a fantasy about Greek gods, that's got a six-headed monster as well as gods that reveal themselves to people, and a lady that can turn people into animals. So, didn't take me out of the movie too much. It's fantasy. But I do understand why people think there should be more, I guess, more white actors for a European story. Like, yeah, it makes sense, but overall, it didn't bother me too much. I loved the movie just the way it was. It wasn't an issue that there were black people or Asians or Indians. Now, of course, I love Troy. Troy seems to have more of that look of what people would look like in Greece. And some people say, well, Brad Pitt, he's blonde with blue eyes. Greeks generally don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not common, but there's probably Greeks that have blonde and blue eyes. And there's this whole weird preconceived idea that only whites have blonde hair and blue eyes, which I don't know where that came from, because if you guys seen Iraqi people or people from the Middle East, some of them have green eyes, blonde hair, blue eyes, blonde hair. There's even this tribe in, like, I don't know, it's like New Guinea or somewhere in these Pacific Islands where the people have like naturally blonde hair. So it's like, I don't know where people get this idea that only white people have blonde hair with blue eyes. I mean, you see every once in a while, you see black populations with blue eyes, native populations with blue eyes, Arab populations with blue eyes, like I said, like Iraqis, Syrians, they can have blue eyes too. So anyway, I love The Odyssey. Didn't take me out of the movie that it was diverse. Honestly, I think Athena, my issue wasn't that Zendaya's half black, half white. My issue with Athena was that I thought she should have been a little older. I thought she should have been like older, like kind of like Cersei. I don't know. Because Athena's like giving him wisdom and things like that. Jeez. And Odysseus is like, you gods, you always speak in parables. Like, we can't understand you. So I do think she should have been older. My issue wasn't that Zendaya is half black, half white. My issue was that she was kind of too young to be Athena, in my personal opinion. But anyway, I grew up with diverse casts. Like I said, the mummy, the people are Egyptian looking. I grew up watching Mulan, so you have ancient China, so basically the people were Chinese in that movie. So I love diverse stories. You had Aladdin, which was basically a fantasy version of India, so that was pretty cool. You have Pocahontas, which was obviously Native American, and I don't know if Pocahontas was like inspired by a real person or whatever, but I mean, certainly the white men came to America and there were natives there. So, it's given the story because we learn in history about the white person's point of view. Pocahontas tells like, okay, like what did the natives go through? So Pocahontas is a great one. I didn't watch that one too much. I'm not too well versed on it, but I did watch Mulan quite a bit. I didn't watch Aladdin that much, but Mulan was one we all watched as kids. We loved Mulan. And that one was my favorite of the Disney princesses because, I mean, Mulan was just like trying to defend her country from the Huns. She wasn't looking for love. She wasn't like Ariel. Ariel wanted to go up to the surface. She wanted to find love. Beauty and the Beast, Belle wanted to change this beast into somebody who's civilized and, be that wife, And then Pocahontas was like trying to keep the peace between the white man and the native man. So you had all that stuff going on. But Mulan is just like, I gotta defend my nation from the Huns. So Mulan was like my favorite one. But you do have these diverse stories. You have Pocahontas, Native American. You have Aladdin, which is India, and you have Mulan, which is China. So I've always loved diverse stories from different cultures. I've always grown up with diverse stories. I think things nowadays are blown way out of proportion. People just throw the word woke around like they're using the word the. It's like, what does woke even mean anymore? You see a black person in a film that's set in ancient Greek. Oh, it's woke. Christopher Nolan's woke. Like, no, woke is a very extreme ideology. And just having a person of color, such as an Asian, an Indian, or a black person, does not make a movie woke. There'd be certain things that would have to be said to make it woke, So I love diversity. Stories. America is the biggest film industry in the world, right? We have immigrants from all over, right? So I want to see diverse stories about different types of people, right? We have Asians that come here. We have Africans that come here. We have Europeans that come here. We have we even have like Aboriginal people from like Pacific Islands that come here or whatever. And so all over the world. The most recent Disney princess is Moana, which is inspired by Polynesian culture, which is Pacific Islanders. So, we have people of color in the Moana film, So, diversity is great. It needs to reflect the demographics of America, right? So I've grown up with diverse stories, Asian, Indian, and Native Americans with the aforementioned Disney stuff. I remember watching Moana with my niece. She loves Moana, so that one is Polynesian, Pacific Islander, indigenous people. So yeah, great movie. I liked Turning Red, which was, again, that was like an East Asian girl who her grandparents came to America. So they do a good job of portraying East Asian people and, just their discipline, their hard work, and their values. And then obviously, like, the red pandas are endemic to China, such as the great panda is endemic to China. So yeah, I love Turning Red. I'm going to come out and say I'm a woke guy. I support diversity, equity, and inclusion because, come on, this is America. We have the biggest film industry. We have many different types of people. So, I don't see the issue with people being represented. You know what I mean? I grew up watching black characters, black superheroes. Now, could I not enjoy a movie as a kid or a TV show as a kid because there weren't black heroes? No. Like, let's say there was a show that I was watching that didn't have a black hero, which was kind of rare because mostly all the TV shows had black heroes and characters. But let's say I was watching something without like a black hero in it, like Batman, the animated series, right? Yeah, the main character is white. He's Batman. That's one of my favorite shows ever. I grew up in the 90s. I was not going to not enjoy Batman because I couldn't see myself in the character. I loved Batman growing up. One of my favorite shows. So, it wasn't really an issue for most shows because most shows had black characters, right? I didn't have to see myself in a show that didn't have a black protagonist. If I could relate to his values, which Batman wants to stop crime and, psychopaths out there because his parents were murdered. It's like, I can get behind that. Like, if I'm a kid, I'm like, well, I don't want anyone to kill my parents. So I can relate to the character. Obviously I didn't come from billions of dollars, but it's like the guy dresses up and beats up bad guys in a bat costume. The last thing on my mind was, huh, I wonder, can I be Batman because of my skin color? Do I do I not have the ability? No. I mean, I was just like, oh man, he's beating up Joker and Penguin, and he's going after bad guys. That was it. I love Batman. You know, he's fighting these weird people. He's fighting clay monsters. You know, he's trying to keep Gotham safe. You know, skin color was the last thing on my mind when I was a kid watching cartoons. And we had plenty of black heroes, you know. Superman the animated series, you have Steel. He's a black character. He's based off like this African American folk hero. I guess the story goes it was like 1920s, 30s, or late 1800s, you know, when the Industrial Revolution is happening in the United States. And he was allegedly so strong and powerful that he was able to plow through a mountain with his hammer faster than like a locomotive, right? Or yeah, I guess he like beat the train when they're like plowing through the mountain or something. So I guess Steel is based off like a black folk hero, right? So yeah, his name is John Henry Irons, based on the folk hero John Irons. So yeah, there were black heroes growing up. Did I like Steel because he's black? No, not necessarily. I liked him because I thought it was cool that he built a suit of armor and was fighting alongside Superman. And Steel is like my brother's favorite DC character. So, I mean, Steel was cool, but I didn't like him or dislike him because because he's black, right? And then, you know, we had Static Shock growing up. You know, Static Shock was like, I guess, a young black hero. But it's like, I really like Static and Gear. Gear was his sidekick. Gear was the white guy. So Gear was the smart tech guy. He designed like jetpacks and different technology to subdue the criminals. Static was the guy with the static electricity powers, but they worked great as a team. They were tight like that. But it's like, it's not like I didn't like Gear because, oh, I can see myself in Static. I don't like Gear because he's not black like Static. It's like, no, I like them both. Like, I just like the show. They're fighting bad guys in their city. You know, when you're a kid, things are very black and white. No pun intended. It's like the heroes are the good guys, and they're trying to fight the bad guys to keep the city safe. When you're a kid, it's just simple like that. So you see the heroes and you root for the heroes. We had Green Lantern and Justice League, so he's a black hero. So did I like him because he's black? No, not necessarily. I kind of liked everyone in Justice League, the original one. I love that version of the Justice League, the JLA, which is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Flash. Did I necessarily look up to him more because he's black? No. Superman's my favorite. And Superman, I guess you could say he's portrayed as white, but he's not even from Earth. He's from a different galaxy entirely. He's not even human. So it's not like I couldn't appreciate colors of different characters because I can't see myself in them. I mean, kids aren't thinking about that. I mean, that's really the last thing on a kid's mind is like, hey, can I enjoy a TV show because I don't see myself represented? No kids thinking that. I can tell you that right now. We had Power Rangers. So you had the Black Ranger, which ironically or maybe intentionally was actually a black person. And they say that Asian Ranger was yellow, and that was done either intentionally because I guess Asians are yellow. I guess I don't know if there was really backlash against that, but it's like, I mean, they're in suits, they're fighting space aliens. Like, racism is the last thing anyone's thinking about when Power Rangers is on. You have people in red, white, blue, green, and yellow spandex fighting aliens. And every time the alien's about to lose, he gets big. He turns into a giant, and then the Power Rangers get in their Megazords, and now they're in a big robot, and they're fighting a giant space alien in a city, destroying buildings. Seriously, race is like the last thing on somebody's mind when Power Rangers is on. My favorite character wasn't the Black Ranger. My favorite character was the Blue Ranger. Well, why was the Blue Ranger my favorite? Not because he was like the nerdy guy or any other qualities other than that. Simply, he was blue. That's why he was my favorite character. Had nothing to do with his personality or his skin color or nothing. I'm just a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old. I'm simple. I'm just like, I like the color blue. Billy's my favorite ranger because he's blue. My brother's favorite color was red. So any ranger that was red was my brother's favorite character. My oldest brother's favorite color was green. So any ranger that was green was my brother's favorite character. So yeah, that's kind of my whole take on diversity. I mean, we've always had diverse stories. At least I did growing up. Now, like I said, classic Hollywood era, 30s, 40s, 50s. You kind of have women in certain roles as like detectives or police chiefs, you know, in those noir films or whatever. I mean, it's not that you couldn't, it just like wasn't common. So, yeah, but overall, the modern era, you have plenty of female cops, plenty of Black, Asian, Latino, whatever the case may be. Diversity is totally fine in film. I hate when people say, I'm not going to watch this film because there's a black person in it. It's going to be woke. Like, okay, you're missing out on some really good movies just because you think whatever woke means, because now it's just used so commonly, I don't even know what it means anymore. But you're going to be missing out on some good films because you decide not to see a movie because a person's skin color or a person's gender, you know what I mean? So, anyway, that is my rant on diversity. I mean, American film, it's kind of always been here for us with different types of people, different cultures. And I love different types of cultures, different types of people. You know, it's just who we are as Americans. You know, we had Europeans coming here, Asians coming here. So we're going to have stories from different perspectives, right? So diversity is great, so to speak. I grew up watching Men in Black. You have Will Smith as Agent J. He's the hotshot rookie black guy. And he gets paired with Agent K. He's the old do it by the book white guy. Love those movies. You have Rush Hour. I believe they're in like California, LA, and they're trying to take on international crime lords and things of that nature. So you have Chris Tucker, and he's kind of like the eccentric American. He's black. And then you have Jackie Chan, which is he's from Hong Kong. So he's the Asian guy. He's foreign. He's very well reserved because Asians have a much different culture than Americans do. And you pair these guys together in a movie. it's hilarious. So I gotta say, I love diversity. Men in Black, Rush Hour, Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo. You have Eddie Griffin. the black guy, and then Rob Schneider's the white guy. And there's this scene where they think Eddie Griffin is the man whore killer, right? And Rob Schneider goes to Chicken and Waffles house because Eddie Griffin's hiding out. And he finds him at this Chicken and Waffles house. And he's like, "How did you find me here?" He's like, "Well, I mean, it's pretty easy. It's the only Chicken and Waffles place." And he's like, "Oh, just because I'm black, I gotta be at a Chicken and Waffles." He's like, "But you are here." He's like, "Yeah, but figuring it out is racist." And then he goes on to say, "You know, before you could only get chicken or waffles. The Dutch were the first to put them together. Black people all over the world will be forever grateful to the Dutch." And Rob Schneider's like, "You do know the Dutch started the slave trade, right?" And he's like, "Those mother efforts." Oh man, so that's funny, man. It's like, can we go back to just comedies like that where it's like you could tell a racist joke not out of malice, just, stereotypes that black people eat chicken. And I mean, it's funny. To me, it's funny. I shouldn't have been watching Deuce Bigelow as a 7th grader, but it was hilarious. But man, I recently watched Tropic Thunder. I was with some friends about maybe last year or so. It's like Tropic Thunder. It was pretty funny. I wish we could go back to comedies like that. But anyway, yeah, that's my little rant on diversity, equity, and inclusion.